What's good, everyone? So, you guys are going on an adventure. I've got to get ready for work, but I also want to shoot early enough that this will have time to upload before, midnight and nobody see it. So, you guys are just going to have to bear with me because I got to put some makeup on this. So, I survived the hot beef jerky last night. I did survive. I'm in pain. I have blisters on my tongue. And my mom's already getting me signed up to try hotter stuff with her. So, anything to entertain y'all. Anything for y'all. Until you guys start giving me suggestions on what to do, you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of crazy stuff, okay? I figured today we would go ahead and talk more about music. Okay. Got a couple things I want to talk to y'all about. First off, as y'all know, I've been sleeping on some bands, and I'm really, really disappointed in myself because these bands are pretty awesome. But there are some bands that I've been aware of for quite a while. I think today I want to talk with y'all about, loving a band and falling out of love with them. It happens a lot. It does. It happens quite often. I know I've been a fan of bands pretty much all my life. And I find myself falling out of love with these bands. And it's nothing to do with me being less of a fan. Because deep down, I still have a lot of love in my heart for these bands. But, certain things happen. And bands can make you fall out of love with their music. Okay. I guess we'll start off with the first one. Metallica. I've always been a big fan of Metallica. The Black Album to me is their best album. I mean, I like the Master of Puppets album. It was alright. But would I go out and would I crank that up and listen to that whole entire album? No. Now the Black Album, from first song to last song, I can listen to that whole album. I don't know. I just kind of, when they started making their new stuff, I just kind of, you guys were already going downhill. But now I've completely lost interest. Like, I still crank their Black Album. I'm still a fan. I will still listen to Metallica. When Enter Sandman comes on, I'm jamming, man. Yeah. So, don't get me twisted. I still like them. Just not enough to go out and buy merch and keep every album. No. Another band that I kind of... and we've got to really talk about... This whole episode's basically going to be pretty much about this band, okay? Nickelback. Okay? When I first heard of them, I was like, okay, First song I ever heard was How You Remind Me. Then I started researching the band and discovered they had albums before that. And I checked those out too. And for the longest, I was a big fan of Nickelback. I started kind of losing any respect for them right around the time that they came out with their All the Right Reasons album. That to me was like, that album right there kind of started changing my mind on them a little bit, but not enough for me to, okay, I don't want to be a fan of yours anymore. Okay, when they came out with Curb, great album from first song to last song. I can listen to that album all day. Their album, The State, I can listen to that from first track to last track. How You Remind Me, same thing. The Long Road, same thing. When they came out with All the Right Reasons is when I started, okay, there's tracks on there that I can skip. That's when you know that a band is starting to slowly but surely, lose their touch. So, to me, that's when they started going downhill. Okay? But still not enough to make me, totally against them by any means. When they came out with Dark Horse, I noticed there was even less tracks on that album that I could tolerate. And to me, that was a sad album because there's a lot of songs on that album that, kind of rang close to home for me, like Just to Get High. I've actually had several friends, and even myself included, have been at that stage of addiction where you're willing to sell off everything you own. You're willing to take from others to make sure you have your fix. So I definitely know there's songs on that album that kind of reach home, really close to home for me. But there's only 2 or 3 great songs on the whole CD, on the whole album. Worth me listening to. I went out and bought the CD anyway, because once again, I'm a fan. Okay? Their Here and Now album. Maybe 2 or 3 songs. Okay. I am a fan of music, so when I like something, I like to try to get hard copies as well as downloads. Okay, but I'm also not rolling in the dough. So, money is a big issue when you're a fan, because everybody has fan expectations, and I kind of touched on this in my video the other night, but the other night's video had another whole topic, so that's why I'm making this video. When you're a fan, people have expectations of fans. One is that you have to own merch, okay? If you can, that's great, but I think musicians would understand, okay, we have a solid fan base. Some of our fans are poor. Some of our fans aren't able to buy our merch, but we still appreciate them anyway. And I think any real artist will, understand. But in the community, as far as other fans, people like to judge. They're really, they like to judge on it. So, like, acquiring merch is really hard, especially when you're in a low income tax bracket. By the time I pay my bills, I'm tapped. So, I can only do so much. I can't afford the t-shirts, but I do try to at least make sure I have copies of their CDs, and such. And I have quite a bit of money invested in my Nickelback collection. So, if I'm going to go out and spend my money to make sure that I have hard copies of these things, I at least want to be able to say that it was money well spent and that I enjoy them. That's not the case with the last 2 or 3 albums they've come out with. So I have kind of come to this place where I'm no longer buying their hard copies. My collection's kind of at a standstill with the Here and Now album. I didn't get the No Fixed Address album because there's like 3 songs on the whole album that I even like. And I like Get 'Em Up. Get 'Em Up was alright. I have company, so. Sorry about the disturbance. I had company. Had to pause. So, I left off with Nickelback, right? The No Fixed Address album, I think, is where I was at. Like I said, they only had like 2 or 3 songs on that whole album that was any kind of good at all. I liked Get 'Em Up. That was alright. I liked the She Keeps Me Up and Million Miles an Hour. And that's it. There's like 11 tracks, and I like 3 of them. So why would I go buy that CD? To me, that's me throwing my money away. So I just didn't buy that one. And then they come out with Feed the Machine. Alright. I'll give it a try because, maybe they've redeemed themselves. They didn't. Off of that whole album, 3 songs. So I don't see the sense in me going out and spending money I don't have on CDs that I'm not going to listen to. Makes no sense. So Nickelback's one of those bands that just kind of died for me. And I mean, by no means will you catch me dissing them. I just won't, because they are still doing what they want to do. That's their style's changing, but they're still musicians, and they still spend hours on the road away from their families and stuff like that, bringing music for us. So can't really hate on them too much because they still have a big fan base. There's a lot of people who do, and I still follow them. And I'm just not gonna go out and make sure I have all their CDs and stuff like that. And don't really even listen to their music anymore, because every time I hear a Nickelback song, it only reminds me of how disappointed I am in them, because they went a total different direction than what I even ever thought they would. And to me, that's sad. It's really, really sad, because they had a lot of good songs. They had a lot of good albums. I still have to say my favorite album is their Curb album, even though that's not the most popular album. See, that's where people, they pick a favorite album, and they don't do it based on the music. They do it based on the hype that album got. You ask any Nickelback fan, 9 people out of 10 are going to tell you their favorite album is Silver Side Up, because that was the most hyped album when it first came out. And I mean, it was a good album, but it was so overplayed on radio stations. I mean, How You Remind Me, it was everywhere. And 9 people out of 10 will tell you that's their favorite Nickelback song, because it was hyped. It was overplayed. Same with Rockstar, off their All the Right Reasons album. overhyped, overplayed. And that is what people are going to base their fandom on. Oh, those are my favorite. That's because that's what they've heard. That's what has been played. You know, if you're an honest fan, you got to listen to all their music and then make a decision based on what you actually like. To me, the Curb album was more rock than the rest of them. To me, it had more of that grunge sound. And that's really what Nickelback set out to be. Chad Kroeger even done multiple interviews stating that his icons were Metallica, so obviously they were into the heavy rock thing. And it inspired them to start their band, but they just kind of, they have to have their own spin. You can't expect a band to be just like another band. There's no band that is just like another band. And if they are, then they're not doing what they want to do. They're doing what somebody else has already done. And to me, that's where I lose interest in bands. I also, another question that I get asked a lot. Do you like country music? I like a wide variety of music. Obviously my main thing is metal, rock, scene music, I like Falling in Reverse, I like Asking Alexandria, I like I Prevail, My Chemical Romance, those. But I also like Lamb of God, Hatebreed, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, hard-hitting, heavy stuff. I like that too. I like Pantera, King Diamond, Slayer, I do like some hip-hop, not a lot. Not a lot at all. I like Eminem, I like Dr. Dre, I like Tupac, I like Biggie, the Notorious B.I.G. I'm starting to like a little MGK. He's I can listen to him. He's alright. I like Tom MacDonald. Big fan of Tom MacDonald because he's real. That's what I like about his music is it's real. He's not rapping about sexy bitches and dope and all the money. He is rapping about things that, people can relate to. Ronnie Radke, oh my gosh, he raps, he can spit. I really, really like that he can spit, And, but to address country music, I do, but I don't. If that makes any sense to any of y'all. I like some of the older country, And when I say older, I'm not talking about Hank Williams Sr. old or anything 50 and beyond. You lost me. You've lost me with the 50s. Nope. Can't do that. So, with that being said, I like Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, The Highwaymen. I can listen to that. As far as modern day country, not my thing a lot. I like Luke Bryan. I can tolerate him. I like Jason Aldean. I do like more of the 90s country too. George Strait, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks. I can handle those. But I like a wide range. I even like some classical music, Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, Debussy. I listen to a wide variety of music. I can't honestly say that there's music, opera. I can't, no. That's one thing I will not listen to is opera. Make my ears bleed. And do not mention Freddie Fender to me. No, can't. Tex-Mex, that shouldn't even be music. That's, no. So, yeah, it's real easy to become attached to a certain artist or band, and then, they drop a couple of albums and they make you and so it's like, yeah. I guess I'm gonna take a break for a minute. You guys don't want to watch this whole makeup process, and it requires me to focus. So, shout outs. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscription button, hit that bell, select all. And if you are a subscriber, share this. We need 1,000 viewers so I can go live, y'all. I really, really, really want my videos out there. I want to make a difference. I want to make people laugh. I want to discuss music, I'm not wanting to be famous by no means, but it would be nice to, share myself with the world, because I stay cooped up a lot. Even before COVID-19, I just don't deal well with people. I'm socially awkward. I can't hang out with crowds at all. It's hard for me to it's hard for me to hang out with my friends even, because I just get too anxious, and then I have panic attacks, and then I have trouble breathing, and then I end up needing to go to the hospital. So, I try to stay to myself. So, I want to get out there. I want to meet new people, even if it's on the internet, Shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my girl Kimberly. Her YouTube channel is I Love to Sing ×3. Go subscribe. Check her out. She's kind of cool. Hey girl, thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being my friend on Facebook. I love you. Shout out to Caroline Klangos. I hope I'm saying that right. She's also a fellow Facebook social media friend of mine. Thank you for subscribing. Anne-Marie Martin, thank you for your subscription. Jennifer Gatlin. Lazura. That's all it said. It literally just says Lazura. I have like 2 or 3 more, but YouTube won't let me see them because they're not sharing their subscription information. So whoever you are, I want to thank you for your subscriptions too. I just want to say to all of you that have been rooting for me, I really appreciate you. I want to give a huge shout out to my friends. My friend Linda. I want to give her a big shout out. She's really good at the mental health check-ins with me and making sure that I'm okay up here. Been doing okay. I mean, not 100%, but I'm alive. And I want to thank everybody that, has come together during this pandemic and supported one another, in a way that's, helpful. if you're out there delivering food to people who can't get out or won't get out, thank you. If you're a doctor or a nurse putting your life on the front lines for people who may be infected, thank you for taking that risk and saving lives. I'm not a nurse or anything like that, but I am a caregiver, and I put myself at risk by going out and, giving care to people who need me. Without me, simple functions like, dishes, shower, sweeping and mopping, cooking meals, that stuff wouldn't happen, So, I know how it is. And the big thing is you put your families at risk too, but they know you're doing it for a good cause, so thank them too. I guess just stay safe, and we'll all pull through this together. Peace.